Alright boys, here we go, over the top. We're going to cross no man's land and storm the enemy trench. Hello everyone and welcome to Verdun. This is a World War I first-person shooter that just came out on Steam Early Access a few days ago, maybe a week or so ago. Now it's a game that I had heard about a while back and it definitely piqued my interest. I had seen a couple short videos and once it got released on Steam Early Access I decided to take the plunge and see what it was all about. So the real main purpose of this video is going to be to give you my first impressions, things that I like and don't like about the game, and perhaps a few things that I feel need to really be improved upon. And also maybe to give you guys an opportunity to make some impressions of your own by watching the gameplay and see if this game is something that might interest you. So in the background you're going to see gameplay from the main type of game mode available in Verdun, and that is called Frontlines. And the premise behind this game mode is essentially quite simple. You're either attacking or defending trench emplacements. So one team will start off defending their trench line while the other team attempts to assault across no man's land, which you can see here, and storm and capture the trench. The way you capture a trench is essentially quite like a conquest mode in any other game. Outnumber the enemy troops in the trench and you will capture it. On the flip side of that, when defending, if you can hold the line long enough and keep the enemy from gaining a foothold, you will repel their attack. Once this happens, you will then be on the attack yourselves and try and cross no man's land and capture the enemy trench. If you are successful in capturing a trench, you will force the enemy back to the next trench line. Now for each attack successfully defended, or for each trench successfully captured, your team will earn a victory. The team with the most victories at the end of the time limit will win the round. There's also the opportunity for a team to completely capture all the trench lines of an enemy. Now when defending, that defending team cannot advance any further forward than the trench that is under attack. Likewise, the attacking team cannot advance further past the trench that they are assaulting. And this is actually one of the really good features of the game, as it helps to prevent cherry picking and spawn killing by either team and also encourages playing of the objective. Another feature of the game that I really like and think is well done is the squad system. Squads consist of 4 players, there's a squad leader, and then 3 additional slots that can be filled by different types of characters, different classes such as riflemen, marksmen, machine gunners, grenadiers, things like that. I'll probably go into those in more detail in a different video. Now the squad system is great because your character earns XP and experience and rank by not only how well you do, but you can actually get a boost from how well your squad does. At the end of each round, you'll get an additional boost to your character depending on how well everybody else in the squad does. This, for one, encourages people to play together in squads and also encourages good squad play. Now the members of the squad can spawn on the squad leader, so it's important for the squad leader to make sure that they stay alive, as well as for the members of the squad to protect the squad leader. There's also a radius around the squad leader, which you can see on the map. Now within this radius, you can get bonus points for killing enemies, protecting the squad leader, and things like that. Now as you can see in the game footage above, our initial attack was defeated and we are back in our trench, prepared for the German counterattack. Now here I've got a position on a dune just above our trench, and I'm trying to pick off as many Germans as I can before they're able to overrun our trench. You can see them kind of emerging from the mist and the smoke trying to take our position. It's kind of an immersive experience and it's a really fun part of the game. And another great feature of the game that I like are the maps themselves. Now this map here is one of my favorites, but it's also one of the most difficult for either team to attack and gain any ground on. This particular map, the trenches are relatively close together, so there's a small distance to sprint, but there's also not a lot of cover. This map often plays out like much of what you hear about World War I, where one side would attack and get defeated, gain almost no ground, and then the other side would counterattack, and likewise their attack would be defeated at the cost of many lives. As you can see here, people are just getting mowed down and gaining no ground in return for all the sacrifice. Now like I said, this is one of the smaller maps with very little distance in between the trenches. Some of the other maps, like this one here, have much larger distances in between each trench that you are assaulting. And then naturally the rest of the maps tend to kind of fall in between. Now another thing that I like about this game is the weapon handling. It's somewhat clunky and awkward, which I like. It should be difficult to line up your sights and shoot at long range targets. Also, moving while shooting will greatly reduce your weapon's accuracy. These are all really great things for a title like this, because we don't want to see anybody 360 no-scoping players. Now with that being said, you can rank up each individual weapon. As you rank up each weapon, your weapon handling will slightly improve. Things such as aiming down sight, your reload time, things of that nature. That kind of leads me into the next thing that I like, and that is just the ranking up system in general. Now your character has an overall rank that goes up to 100, but also each individual class has a rank that goes up to 100 as well. Unlocking new items can come across as a bit of a lengthy process, but that's always a good thing because it always gives you something to be striving for. Now another thing that I really like about this game is the damage model. It's pretty hardcore. One hit with a rifle and you're going down. Some people might be saying, oh, you know, what if I get shot in the leg? You know, that wouldn't kill me. But if you're sprinting across no man's land, you get shot in the leg or wounded, you're pretty much done for. You're gonna fall down and be out of the fight, lying wounded in the middle of no man's land. You're not gonna get shot in the leg and then continue sprinting full speed. So I don't really have a problem with there being a one-hit kill with the rifles. They're bolt action, so you know, definitely take some skill to put people down, particularly at long range. Now the pistols and small caliber things, they are semi-automatic, but they also will take 2 or 3 shots, with the occasional one shot here or there, but they take a few shots to put people down. Okay, so now I'll go into some of the things about the game that I don't like, or things that I think really need to be improved upon before the game's release. The biggest thing is that this game says it's in beta, but a lot of the aspects of it really feel like an early alpha game. For one, the graphics, you can probably get a feel for it yourself. A lot of the textures, particularly the character models, a lot of the weapon textures, things like that really don't feel like a beta game. They seem very much placeholder, so I really hope that they are placeholder and that there's going to be some significant improvements to these things, because I think it'd just be unfortunate for a game that's as fun as this one is to play to not necessarily look as good as you would think a game could look at this day and age. I mean, some of the times when I'm playing this, it really feels like I'm looking at like a really old PC shooter. Now from a distance, this game actually does look pretty good when you see some of the screenshots and some of the video things, but once you actually get inside the game, a lot of those ugly things will kind of rear their head and show themselves to you. So again, hopefully we will see some significant improvement in this respect. Now this kind of leads into my next point, and that is just the graphical performance in general. For a game that doesn't necessarily look like it's going to be very graphically intensive, there is a lot of performance issues graphically, a lot of frame drops, and micro stutter in particular. And micro stuttering, to me, for me personally at least, is the biggest problem that I have with this game. Micro stuttering can cause some seriously frustrating things to happen, particularly when you're in a firefight. Now this can be hard to show with game footage only, since you can't see what my mouse is doing, but if you remember from that opening clip where I died, it wasn't that I didn't see that guy and was trying to round that corner, it was that I was moving my mouse and nothing was happening, and then when I went to melee, all of a sudden my character looked even further left, all the way around that corner than I had wanted to. Got myself killed. Now this happens often and can be extremely frustrating at times. Perhaps the biggest portion where this rears its head is when aiming down sight, or ADS. When ADS and trying to fine-tune your aim, oftentimes you'll find that you'll be moving your mouse often inches across your mouse pad, and your aiming sights, the sights on screen, do absolutely nothing until all of a sudden they jump far away from where you're actually trying to aim. This makes trying to get headshots on a guy that's peeking above a trench or crawling prone across no man's land much more difficult than they really should be. For example, you might find yourself defending your trench, see an enemy soldier standing right out in the open in no man's land, which should be a very easy kill, so you'll pop your head up above the trench for what should be, you know, a second or two so you can get a shot off and drop the enemy. But when you bring your sights up, it's just off to the left of him. Not on his body, but just off to the left, and all you need to do is move your mouse slightly to the right, get your target on him, and you'll be able to shoot him. But what happens is you're moving your mouse to the right and nothing's happening until all of a sudden your crosshair jumps to the other side of him. And then back and forth, trying to fine-tune your aim, and then boom, you're dead. Somebody has shot you. Now this was nearly a game-breaking experience for me until I figured out that turning your graphics settings all the way to low helps to minimize this. Now it's still there, and it can still be frustrating at times, but it's definitely a lot better when you have your graphics on low. So if you've been experiencing the same problem and you already have this game, turn your graphics down to low. And then again, with that being said, turning your graphics all the way to low in a game that doesn't look too pretty to begin with just adds, to my first point. Now the final thing about this game that I think really needs to see some improvement is network performance. If you find yourself in a server with a good number of high pings in it, it's going to start to have a really laggy experience, and it's only going to accentuate all the other things that I talked about with the micro stuttering. Now I do understand that this game is in beta and it's not finished yet, and it will certainly see improvement before its release, but I do bring up these things because I think that they really need to see some significant improvement. They're not things that need a little bit of minor tweaking here and there in order to get the game to a truly playable position. These are things that could potentially be game breaking if they're not significantly improved by this game's release. Now however, there is good news, there is light at the end of the tunnel. I was fortunate enough to be playing in a server where one of the developers was in my squad, and he was actually answering a lot of questions and talking about some of the things that they know are issues and what some of the things that they're really trying to work on and improve on are, and he stated that micro stuttering and the network performance were top priorities for improvement with this game. In addition to that, there's a roadmap that you can find on the Steam page that highlights a lot of the things that they want to improve upon, one of the things that they want to add to this game, and certainly network performance and the micro stuttering and graphical issues are all on that list. So again, hopefully they'll be able to limit these issues, because I think that they really have a good product here, barring that these things really get ironed out, because the gameplay is there. Now if you're looking for a game to kind of compare this to, I would say that the biggest comparison you could draw to is probably Red Orchestra 2. Now I play a lot of Red Orchestra 2, I really like Red Orchestra 2, and it kind of got me thinking that maybe this game could have been developed on the Unreal Engine and use the same engine that Red Orchestra does, because it doesn't really seem to do anything that Red Orchestra doesn't or couldn't do, and I think that the game wouldn't have a lot of the issues that it has now. Now I'm not a programmer or developer, so there certainly could be ambitions and things within Verdun that certainly aren't capable in the Unreal Engine, but it did get me thinking that a World War I mod could be something that Red Orchestra, like a Red Orchestra modding community, could do that could potentially be a lot of fun. So to get back on topic, would I recommend purchasing this game? Well, if you're someone who's into historical shooters, you play a lot of Red Orchestra, and you're someone who really likes a tactical shooter, I think this game is going to be right up your alley. Now again, with that being said, it's in early access, and it's very much in early access. There's still a lot of things about this game that need to be ironed out. So if you're at all apprehensive, I would say certainly there's no harm in waiting and seeing how the game progresses. But I really hope to see a lot of the issues get worked out, and I have faith that they will, because I'm still actually having a lot of fun with the game, even though these issues do exist. Now I'm certainly going to be playing more of this game, so if you'd like to see some more videos, be sure to let me know in the comments below. Subscribe to my channel for more content, and I will see you guys in the next video.